You are scrolling through Tyler's feed at 11 at night, watching him unbox a drone he ordered an hour ago, already talking about the next one he wants. Somewhere else in the same city, a truck with a dented roll-off container on the back pulls into an empty lot at 6 in the morning, and nobody is filming it. Marcus has been quietly studying what he calls the ordinary machine, a business too boring to post about and too reliable to quit. Tonight he is going through 10 of them, the kind nobody brings up at a barbecue, and the one at the end that quietly ties every single one of them together. Stay for that last one. It is the reason some people in your own neighborhood never seem to worry about money, and it has nothing to do with luck or a degree, or knowing the right person before anyone else did. Marcus is not going to tell you his background or explain why you should listen to him. He is just going to walk through the accounting the way he always does and let the numbers make the argument on their own. Somewhere along the way, most people got taught that a business is supposed to sound like something. It is supposed to have a clean name, a logo somebody would notice, a story that survives being told at a dinner table full of people you are quietly trying to impress. Nobody taught anyone that a business is also allowed to sound like a truck idling outside a house at 7 in the morning. That gap between what a business is supposed to look like and what actually pays the bills every month is exactly where the 10 things on this list have been sitting the entire time. Mostly ignored, mostly still working. Number 1 is roll-off container rental. Picture a company that owns nothing complicated, a handful of steel boxes and a truck to move them from one job site to the next. According to publicly available data, this industry moves several $100 million a year in the United States alone, and it keeps growing every year that construction, remodeling, and basic home cleanouts keep happening. Which is to say, every single year, regardless of what the broader economy is doing. A used truck and a small set of containers can start this business for less than most people spend on a car. A single container can be rented out dozens of times before it ever needs real maintenance. And once a contractor finds a reliable hauler, they call the same number every time, because switching means one more thing to manage on a job that already has too many moving pieces. You are not really selling steel. You are renting patience in the shape of a box that holds someone else's mess until they are ready to deal with it. Number 2 is document destruction. Every hospital, law office, dental practice, and accounting firm in the country is legally required to dispose of paper the right way, on a set schedule, indefinitely, because privacy law does not expire when a business has a slow quarter. The public data on this points to an industry worth well over $1 billion in North America alone, and it barely contracts in a downturn, since the requirement to shred old client files has nothing to do with how business is going. Starting this does not require a warehouse. A single mobile shredding unit and a locked collection bin at each client site is enough to sign the first handful of contracts. Once an office signs a recurring shredding agreement, they almost never shop around again, because nobody wants to be the practice that skipped an audit and got asked why. Number 3 is home inspection. According to the numbers that are public on this, the industry sits around $3 billion a year in the United States, built entirely on a moment that repeats itself constantly across the whole country. Someone buying a house and needing an honest, independent answer about what is actually wrong with it before they sign their name to a 30-year loan. Certification usually takes a few months and a few $1,000s, not years and not a fortune. An inspector who builds a steady relationship with a handful of real estate agents rarely needs to advertise again because the agents refer business for free. A clean, thorough report closes deals instead of blowing them up, and that reputation spreads through an office faster than any ad could. Number 4 is gutter cleaning. This one barely needs a pitch because almost everyone already agrees it needs doing, and almost nobody wants to be the one on the ladder. Every house with trees nearby needs its gutters cleared roughly twice a year, in fall and again in spring, or water finds its way into the foundation eventually, turning a small job avoided today into a repair bill nobody wants tomorrow. The equipment costs less than a used car, sometimes less than a decent television. The real business is never really the cleaning itself, it is the route. the same 50 or 60 houses, twice a year, on a schedule that runs itself, for as long as those particular houses keep their trees. A homeowner who has already paid for this once rarely goes looking for a second opinion the following fall. They just wait for the same call. Number 5 is fence installation and repair. Storms take fences down. Dogs push through them. New homeowners want a privacy fence up before they have even finished unpacking the kitchen. This is heavy, unglamorous, physically demanding work that a lot of homeowners specifically avoid doing themselves, which is exactly why the person who shows up on time, quotes a fair number, and finishes when they said they would, ends up with more jobs lined up than they can get to inside a single season. Materials and a basic set of tools are the only real barrier, and word travels through a neighborhood the moment the first fence goes up clean and straight. One good fence on a corner lot tends to advertise itself to everyone who drives past it for the next decade. Number 6 is commercial window cleaning. Not houses, storefronts, and office buildings, where streaked glass reflects badly on the business behind it. A property manager does not want to spend any mental energy thinking about window cleanliness, so they sign a contract once and stop thinking about it entirely. The account renews itself every quarter without anyone renegotiating the price, largely because switching vendors is more of a hassle for the manager than simply approving the same invoice again. A route of 20 small storefronts, cleaned on the same rotating schedule every month, behaves less like a service business and more like a subscription that happens to involve a squeegee. Number 7 is locksmith work. Locks fail at the worst possible moment, at midnight, in the rain, with a small child asleep inside the car. When someone is standing outside their own front door, unable to get in, price is not the thing on their mind. Access is. This is a business built almost entirely on being the person who actually answers the phone at 2 in the morning, when nearly everyone else in the industry lets it go to voicemail. A basic set of tools and a few weeks of proper training are the whole barrier to entry. Showing up is most of the job. If any of this is landing so far, a like actually helps more than it looks like it does. It is the only reason this reaches someone else who needs to hear it tonight, instead of never seeing it at all. Number 8 is holiday and event lighting installation. Homeowners who want their house lit up every December almost never want to be the one climbing onto the roof in the cold to do it, and even fewer want to be the one taking it back down in January. The equipment gets reused every single year, so the second season costs almost nothing beyond labor. The same client calls back every November without being asked, because they never actually wanted to own this problem. They just wanted the lights to appear and eventually disappear on their own. Number 9 is irrigation system installation and seasonal winterization. Sprinkler systems need to be shut down properly before the first hard freeze and turned back on carefully every spring, and getting that timing wrong can cost a homeowner thousands of dollars in burst underground pipes they will not discover until the damage is already done. This is a business that gets called twice a year, every year, by the exact same list of addresses, for as long as those homeowners keep the house and keep the lawn. Most owners have no interest in learning how their own system works. They just want somebody who remembers, so they never have to. And number 10, the last one, the one worth remembering, even if you forget the other 9. It is not really a 10th business at all. It is what happens the moment you stop running any one of these 9 alone and start running the maintenance calendar, sitting behind all of them at once. Gutters cleared in the fall. Irrigation shut off before the freeze. Lights installed in November, taken down in January. Fences inspected every spring after the last frost. One property, 4 seasonal visits a year. One recurring invoice the homeowner barely thinks about anymore because it happens automatically, the same way a subscription does. At that point, you are not selling 9 separate small jobs anymore. You are selling the simple fact that the homeowner never has to remember any of it themselves again. There is a writer named Morgan Housel who put something well in a book about the psychology of money. The idea that the hardest part of building real wealth is rarely the math. It is deciding you already have enough, and staying patient while something ordinary compounds quietly in the background while everyone else is chasing the next exciting thing. He is not writing about roll-off containers or gutters specifically, but the underlying mechanism is the same one. Slow, unremarkable, repeated decisions, made on the same schedule for years, tend to outperform the one dramatic idea everyone hopes will change everything overnight. None of these 10 businesses are exciting. Not one of them makes for a good story at a dinner party. That is not a flaw in the plan. That is the entire plan. If you are not subscribed yet, this is a good moment to fix that. New videos land every week, and this channel is built almost entirely around the businesses and decisions nobody else wants to talk about out loud. Marcus wants you to sit with something before he keeps going, because he already knows what you might be thinking right now. 10 businesses, and no clear idea which one actually fits your street, your savings, your schedule, your life. That question is not really the problem here. Waiting around for a perfect answer to it is. Here is where the accounting gets personal. Tyler and Derek grew up 2 blocks apart, same age, the same entry-level job for a while, roughly the same paycheck for most of their 20s. Tyler has always wanted the idea that sounds impressive at a party. The app, the brand, the thing people lean in when they hear about it. 3 different attempts across 5 years, 3 different beginnings, no ending that ever made it past the first difficult year. Derek bought a used pressure washer and an old pickup truck 5 years ago and never mentioned it to anyone, until people started quietly asking why his driveway always looked freshly rebuilt every single spring. Derek did not stop there. He added gutter cleaning in the 2nd year, because his existing customers kept asking who could handle that too, and it felt wasteful to say no to people already paying him. He added holiday lighting in the 3rd year, for the exact same reason. By the 4th year, he was not doing most of the physical labor himself anymore. He was running a small route with 2 part-time guys, and a calendar that filled itself every season without him chasing a single new customer. Tyler is still looking for the idea that will finally work. Derek stopped looking for an idea entirely and started running a calendar instead, and the calendar quietly turned into an income that does not ask him how he feels about it before it shows up. Tyler is not lazy. That part matters, because it would be easy to tell this story as though he is. Tyler works hard. He just keeps spending that effort on the version of a business that would make people lean in when he mentions it, instead of the version that would actually deposit money on the same day every month. Derek stopped needing anyone to lean in a long time ago. Somewhere around the 2nd year, he noticed that nobody was asking him what his business was called. They were just asking when he could fit them into the schedule. And that was the moment he realized the name had stopped mattering. The difference between them was never talent. It was never some better opportunity that happened to land in Derek's lap while skipping over Tyler completely. Derek picked something ordinary, kept doing it on a fixed schedule, and let the schedule compound while almost nobody was paying attention. That is the entire accounting behind every single name on this list. If you want Marcus to walk through a version of this that fits a situation closer to yours in a future video, say so in the comments. That is usually where the next one comes from. None of the 10 businesses on this list require a degree, a following, or permission from anyone in particular. What they require is someone willing to show up on the same schedule long enough for it to stop feeling like work and start feeling like a machine that quietly happens to have your name on the account. Most people are still waiting for a business that sounds impressive at dinner. The ones who are quietly fine stopped looking for one a long time ago. They went looking instead for a schedule nobody else wanted to keep, and then they simply kept it, season after season, long after it stopped being interesting to talk about. If this changed how you look at even one boring service you drive past every single week, that is worth passing along to somebody who has been stuck looking for the exciting idea instead of the reliable one. Sometimes the ordinary machine was always sitting right in front of them, parked in a driveway, wearing a work uniform nobody thought to notice.